Okay, good evening. I will speak tonight about Parashat Nazir that we read 2 days ago. Yesterday in Brooklyn, in my lecture, I spoke about half of the parasha. Today we'll do the other half. We spoke about different subjects yesterday from the parasha. The stealing from the converts, Isha Sota, and different other things that we mentioned yesterday. Today, we basically now, the next topic in the parasha is speaking about a Nazir. Nazir. You ask an American, how do you translate Nazir to English? They'll tell you a monk. But it's really not such a good translation, because some words just does not exist in English. Some words in holiness or in Judaism, they just don't exist. So this is one of the things that you don't find a proper word. Maybe it exists. I'm not a specialist in English, but maybe it exists. But I asked at least 20 Americans, educated one, none of them knew that there's a proper word for it. What does it mean, Nazir? Let's explain what Nazir is. First, we have a rule in the Torah that when the subjects in the Torah comes one right after the other, that means there's some kind of a connection between them. The only way to know the connection is to go to the Talmud, to the oral Torah, and see what the sages are saying. Now, many people think that Chazal, the sages, there were people who just sat, they read the psukim, and they translated the verses in the Torah based on their understanding. But it's not. It's also true to some extent, but it's really not exact. Why? Because there's a difference when I come and I read a verse and I try to translate it according to my understanding based on the literal explanation. Each word, I understand what it means, I put them together and I get an idea what this verse is talking about. However, here it's not the same translation, because everything the sages spoke about, every verse in the Torah, every word in the Torah, they already had most of the information who are transferred to them from previous generations. Everybody has to understand one very important thing, that when Moshe Rabbeinu brought down the Torah, he didn't only bring the Torah scroll that we read in, that's the written part. He brought all the Torah Shebe'al Peh, all the oral Torah, and the oral Torah, obviously, it's basically almost everything. It's very, as I said hundreds of times before, if you don't have the oral Torah, you have nothing. Just because you have the holy scroll of the Torah, without the explanation from Hashem that He gave us in Mount Sinai, the written Torah has no meaning. And again, trying to translate the words literally, it's not only it's incorrect, it's a horrible crime. Remember this word. It's a big crime. This is what some groups in the past were doing. They say we don't have the oral law, so we only translate the Torah literally. The Arabs did it. They take eye for an eye, hand for an hand. Somebody stole, they chopped his hand off. That's not what the Torah meant. The Torah meant money. They translated literally, hand. They chopped the hand, even for kids. Many, many things. The Torah spoke about blood, which sounds like that you have to kill the sinner, and the Torah meant to take money from him. It's two different things. So without the oral Torah, you would not know all the secrets of Hashem. By the way, you should know, if somebody ever asks you, but why Hashem made the Torah so complicated? Didn't Hashem know that most of the people in the future generations will be very not smart? I don't want to say fools, but very not smart. Most of the people in the world have no wisdom, no, their brain is not functioning. I speak to so many people, I give them simple understanding in Hebrew of certain words, and you see that the brain is really not functioning. They cannot understand step 1, step 2, they repeat the same question 10 times. Finally, you give them the answer so many times, the next day they ask you the same question. You see, their brain is not functioning. Hashem didn't know that, I don't know, 80, 90% of the people in the world will be like that. Not to talk about the drug problems, that people that had a little brain, they burned it with their drugs and all kinds of things. And people stressed out with all kinds of lack of confidence and emunah in Hashem. So the little ability to think that they had was destroyed with their fear about the future, what's going to happen, will I have what to eat, will I not have, will I get married, will I not get married, etc., etc. So most of the people in the world don't have the ability to think so deep. So why Hashem made the Torah so deep and so complicated to understand? So the answer is, the future generations don't need to know all the secrets. They don't need to be detectives and investigators and sit and investigate. No. This was only for the first generations. Once the Torah was given, Moshe had 70 elders, the very high-level people, which many of them were prophets, as the Torah described. And then his brother Aaron, and many other figures in the Torah, even after they entered the Holy Land, there was a very long period of time that there were thousands of brilliant, genius people, that their memory was phenomenal. For today, a person can learn a Gemara 100 times. 100 times you remember it. You ask him after 100 times, tell me please the entire page by heart. He won't know. He will know 80%, 70%. The people we are talking about, they didn't need more than one time to read it, and they memorized everything. You know, we see today in the world, we have, every once in a while, you meet a person with photographic memory, that he reads a page and he remembers everything, even the smallest details, and everybody is wondering, how can it be? Like Rabbi Ovadia Yosef or Rav Chaim Kanievsky. You ask them tens of thousands of questions about subjects that you hear once in 20 years. Once in 20 years you hear this question rising somewhere. It's not popular everyday questions, you know. Once in 20 years somebody may ask this question and he knows right away in what book it is, what page, everything he knows. And he can quote exactly what that book's saying. This is, everyone is shocked. Wow, how can it be? How he remembers so many things. There is now a very young rabbi, Baal Tshuva. He wasn't born religious. 29, now he's 30 years old. Not even married yet, single. He gives a lecture. He speaks about an hour and a half, like a machine gun. You know how machine guns shoot? He speaks so fast. If your brain is not super sharp, you cannot follow anything of what he says. You have to repeat it 3-4 times to understand what he meant, because he speaks so fast. His brain works so fast, ordinary people cannot catch 5% of what he's saying.
Reminds me of Naftali Vakni.
I don't know, but I'm talking about somebody else. Not only that, so in a one average lecture, he brings maybe 100 different quotes from different books. The Zohar, in this chapter, this, that, the Gemara over here, the Gemara over there, this book, that Chacham, that Rabbi. Like a machine gun. Every lecture, 150 different sources, every page, every book, everything he knows. Only Baal Tshuva wasn't really all his life religious. In a period of, who knows, not even 10 years, he got to such level. Imagine him another 40, 50 years, what he's going to be. So this is people who are gifted. So we even see in our generations abilities that it's beyond imagination. Now imagine 2,000 years ago, when there was no naked women on the streets, there was no thieves everywhere you go, the level of the people was not what we see today. People were in a much higher philosophical level. Even the Greeks, even the wicked Greeks, the philosophers of the Greek, they were in a level that they could have an argument with our sages. And as I always like to say, for people to try to understand what I'm saying, that if you take all the big rabbis in the world today, and you ask them these questions, do you think that all of you combine together, add all the knowledge you have, and he has, all of you combined can reach the level of Rabbi Akiva? I promise you, all of them will answer with no hesitation that they won't even reach 1% of the level of Rabbi Akiva or Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, one of these names that we have in the Talmud. All of them combined. And when we see these big rabbis, we are like shocked. We're almost fainting from the level that they have. So imagine now, if you take all of them combined and they can't even reach 1% of one of these Tanaim in the Talmud, just imagine what kind of brains these people have. But you know what? We don't have to go that far. No, we don't have to go that far. We had a rabbi 150 years ago. What's 150 years ago? Some people here have pictures in their living room of the grandfather of their grandfather from 100 and something years ago. Rabbi Kaduri passed away a few years ago. He saw the Ben Ish Chai when he was a kid. In back, Ben Ish Chai was 100 years ago. So it's not that many generations ago, 150 years ago. Think about it. It's the father of the Ben Ish Chai, that's it. Rabbi Kaduri just passed away a few years ago. He saw somebody who his father was what we're talking here about. No big deal. The Malbim. Malbim. First of all, you read his commentaries on the Torah, on the Tanakh. You can't believe it's somebody who only lived 150 years ago. Then the power, the level of knowledge is beyond any description. But not only that, you see Rabbi Akiva Iger on the Talmud, on the Gemara. When they found his original Gemara, they wrote on the side comments. So from the comments that he wrote on the side, it leaves no doubt that he knew the entire Talmud word by heart. Everything by heart. Rav Ovadia Yosef, in one of his lectures, I heard it in my own ears. He spoke about one rabbi who escaped from Bavel, from Iraq, to Italy. He arrived to a town in Italy, in Europe, and he found that there's no one Talmud in the entire town. Few Jews there, but there's no Gemara there. Remember, there was no printing like today, 1800 years ago. Now, people had to write with a feather. It's a long work. So only the rabbi of the town had one copy, because it's handmade. And his job was, everyone has a question, they come and they look in his house. It wasn't something that everyone has Gemarot in his house. Today everyone has Gemara, nobody opens it, full of dust. You see, you come to some houses, you see beautiful sets, 20 years is over there like a furniture. You know, you open it after 20 years, you hear first time. It happens all the time. I once went to a guy, he bought maybe like 2,000 books in one shot. 3-4 years later I came to his house, I looked at the books, not one book was opened. So I told him there's much cheaper way to decorate the living room. I need 2,000 books, each one $20. It's a lot of money, you know, $40,000 books. There's much cheaper ways. But he feels great that he has books on the shelf. So anyway, so we see the Rabbi Akiva Iger, every time he was learning a subject in a Gemara, he wrote on the side how many times it appears in the Talmud and where. He knew everything. He didn't have a search engine. Let's see how many times. And the computer searched the entire Talmud and he tells you over here, over here. They had a search engine in their brain. Today we have Google, we are so impressed. Wow, we find things in minutes. They have this search engine in their own brain. In their own brain. So now these are the people who told us everything that we need to know. That's it. We don't need to do the job again. We are full of arrogance and pride that we think that we are in the same league, like Rambam, Rashi, all these legends. That's why you have today all kinds of people who they come to courts, to all kinds of judges, and they said, Rambam was a rabbi, and I am also a rabbi. What do you expect from Mr. John Smith, the judge? He doesn't know anything from his life. So, okay, he has a point. He said that you bringing something in the name of one rabbi, Rav Moshe ben Maimon, and he said that he's also a rabbi, and he said the opposite. We understand what's happening here today? The Reforms, they also call themselves rabbis. even though they eat pork on Yom Kippur, and they married Yitzchak and Moshe, husband and wife, against the Torah. What? He also called himself a rabbi. Rabbi that live with his boyfriend. That's what it is. Rabbi that eat pork on Yom Kippur. Rabbi that makes all the sins in the Torah per day. And he come and he say, he's a rabbi. He comes with his bow tie, with his tie, you know, with this beautiful ring from the college he went to. And he say, I'm also a rabbi. So he's going to stand over here. And Rav Chaim Kanievsky or Rav Steinman or Rav Ovadia would stand here in front of John Smith, the Goy judge. And do you think the judge can tell the difference? What does he know? He claims. So obviously, we have to be a little bit more clever. When we go, the oral Torah was given to Moshe and to the people of his generation, right away turned into action. That's what people don't remember. It's not that Moshe kept it in a safe, and then he passed the secrets to Joshua, and he passed it to David HaMelech, and he passed it to Solomon, and he passed it to the Tanaim, and one day they opened the vault, and they started to try to understand what it means. No. When Moshe came and brought the Torah, and he brought the oral Torah with it, a minute after, he started to teach them everything Hashem showed him in the mountain. How do we know?
Slaughtering animals, Shavuot.
How do we know? Very simple. Very simple. First of all, even if you try to keep one law from the written Torah without the oral Torah, there is no way to do it. There's no instructions. So what's the point of giving written Torah when there's no possibility to even keep one mitzvah? What's the point? You got it? Okay. Second thing is, it says in the written Torah, there is a verse that Hashem said to Moshe, make it as I showed you in the mountain. What did he show him? Nothing in the Torah. Only Hashem and Moshe knew. But Hashem said to Moshe, it's written in a text, do it exactly as I showed you, Ka'asher eriticha ba'ar. Do it as I showed you in the mountain, which we see from here that Hashem gave him lots of instructions verbally. Where does it say it? No, we don't know. It doesn't say anywhere. Moshe is reliable. He came from the mountain. Hashem spoke to him. He nominated him, and he says the most humbled man, and he's the biggest prophet ever lived. The word of God is good enough for me. I don't have doubts if Moshe lied or not. Only foolish people have doubts. Somebody that is clever, he knows the creator of the world took Moshe and says he's the best person ever lived. Who am I to have doubts about him? It's not like the babot that you read in the newspaper, this Baba is very holy, go to him for a bracha. Maybe yes, maybe not. Maybe the newspaper reporter is his brother or cousin, and they share the profit. That's not what we're talking here about. He has the stamp of Hashem himself. Hashem said, Vaish Moshe, Zichru Torat Moshe Avdi. My Torah named after him, not after me, not after you. After him. Why? He's the best. The best of all people. That's it. Even the Goyim knows it. Muslims know Musa. Sure they know. Christians know Moses. Sure they know. Everybody knows. The legendary, most legendary person ever lived. Okay. So now, when he brought the Torah, now they have to circumcise the kids. How are they going to do it? No instruction. He had to show them how to do. Hashem showed me, you use this, you cut here, this is what you do, this is what you say. And everybody started to learn, like in a hospital. Just because you went to medical school, you still don't know how to operate on a patient. The only way you know it, when you come to stage, to the surgery room, and you're standing next to a specialist, and he shows you how to do it. You only know it theoretically. But you cannot operate on anyone because you need to practice. That's what it means, oral Torah. That we have the brief instructions in the written Torah, but we cannot understand anything. So therefore, Moshe had to pass it to the elders, which started to pass it from rabbi to student, until the entire nation of Israel already knew by heart all the laws. How you bake matzah, this is how you do. And if you have a question, you go to your neighbor. How do you do it? And he shows you. And then you go to the next neighbor, and he shows you. And that's how you make tefillin. And they show you how to make it. There's more than 1,000 steps until you make tefillin. More than 1,000. One of them is incorrect, it's not kosher. Where does it say it in the written Torah? Nowhere. So how everybody does it the same? All over the world, all the generations with no communication. Everybody knew how to do it. How? It's not in the written Torah. It passed from word to mouth. Why? That's the way Hashem wanted to transfer the Torah. But we still did not answer my question. I asked, okay, fine, it's beautiful how Hashem made it, but why He made it so complicated? He could have written it in a much easier way, with much more clear instructions, and it would leave no doubt. We wouldn't have all these wicked people coming and arguing, and atheists, and this, and tzdukim, and reforms, and conservative, and Karaites. We wouldn't know all this. We wouldn't have all these movements. It would be black on white and finished. The answer is, Hashem didn't want it to be clear to every ordinary person. That was His plan. Why? Otherwise, what would prevent the Gentiles from pretending they're Jews? Nobody would know the difference. Everyone had a beard. Everyone showed up. Hi, what's your name? Yitzchak. Where are you from? I came from Argentina. Do you know who he is? You know, there's no telephone, no way to call and check. Somebody shows up. He has a beard? Yes. He has a beautiful turban? Yes. He looks holy and he looks holy. You don't know if he's a Jew or not. He comes, you see he has tefillin. He has Torah scroll. You see he does everything like me. Matzah, bracha, brit milah to his children, everything. But he's a non-Jew. Why? What prevents him to pretend he's a Jew? He doesn't need us to convert him. He decided that he's a Jew. You know how many goyim like this? They keep all the laws. After they listen to some of the lectures, they started to keep Shabbat. Everything they learn in the internet, they keep. Tomorrow they come. Today, it's easy to check with the technology that we have. You make a few phone calls, you find out. But imagine we lived in a primitive world. He shows up from the other side of the world with a boat. 6 months until he arrives here. How are you going to know who he is? You ask him, who are you? Yitzchak ben Avram. Where are you from? From this yeshiva. And you see, he knows Hebrew, he knows Torah, he knows how to make tefillin, he has mezuzot in his home, he makes circumcision, he reads Tehillim, he knows everything. Why? Everything is in the Torah, he doesn't need us to teach him. Nobody would know who is a Jew and who is not. In 5, 6, 10 generations, Judaism will disappear from the world. No one would know who is a Jew or not. Even today, when we have tradition from our parents and grandparents, we still don't know 1,000,000% if we're Jews or not. You don't know. There's no way to know. Why? There's so much confusion in the world. It's very difficult to know. So we go by certainty. Certainty. My mother was Jewish? Yes. My grandmother was Jewish? Yes. My mother remembered her grandmother Jewish. That's already 4 generations. Chazaka. The odds are very high that we are Jews from now until Moshe Rabbeinu. That's the odds. That's it. Russians don't have these odds. Every Russian Jew is a questionable if he's a Jew or not. Why? Poor Russians, they lived under the communists. They depressed them. They didn't let them practice Judaism. Many of them became total goyim. No circumcision, no holidays, no nothing. So it could be that maybe his grandmother was a religious Jew, but when the communists took over, his grandmother already stopped, and his mother completely stopped. And now he's here, and he asked him, do you think he's Jewish? I think so. My mother told me that her grandmother used to light candle. Is this a proof that she's Jewish or not? There's no way to know. So because of the doubt, you have to convert everyone from the doubt. Same thing Indian Jews. You don't know for sure. Same thing Ethiopian Jews. You don't know for sure. Persian Jews, you know. Why? There's no assimilation over there. The number of assimilation was totally minor.
Afghan Jews?
Same thing, Afghan, Iraq, everybody knew everyone. It didn't happen. But in European countries, it happened. There was intermarriage. It's very hard to know. Many, many times we had people who already became fully religious, and after years we found out that his grandmother wasn't Jewish. All these years he learns Torah and is actually Goy. He's not a Jew. You know, and there are many goyim who thinks completely that they're goyim, and one day they accidentally find out that they're Jewish. You know, I like to always tell this story about Moshe, Persian Moshe, if you know him, that Moshe Mechtizadeh, that he lost his wallet somewhere in Brooklyn. And a goy, Italian goy, found the wallet. So he saw his name, but he doesn't know where he's from. He doesn't know Brooklyn, Queens. But he saw my business card there. He saw my card. So he called me, the goy. Say, hey, do you know by any chance this person named Moshe? I say, yeah, I know him. I just found his wallet in Brooklyn. I say, okay. So I gave him the telephone number of Moshe, and they got together, and Moshe went to him, and in the end he found out that his mother is a Jew. And he started to make him religious. So I say to myself, Hashem wants this Vini to realize he's a Jew. How is he going to do it? He's not going to send him Malach Gabriel, Vini, son of Tony. My name is Gabriel the prophet. I came to tell you something very important. Hashem is not going to do it for him. After all, he ate too many sausages. What merit he have? He was an honest person. He found the wallet, and he decided to return it. So he went out of his way. Some people just put it somewhere and say, well, I'm going to start making investigation. So he called me up. From all that, Hashem opened him a way to become a kosher Jew. Think about it. One little thing can change your entire life. You have no idea how. The rule, overall, the rule is that whatever you do for others, you really do only for yourself. Only for yourself. You just don't see it yet. But always what you do for others, it's actually was done for yourself. 100%. Even when you work for your boss in a business, you work for him or you work for yourself? Only for yourself. He doesn't count in your life. You can care less about him. You only care about how much you're going to get paid by the end of the day for what you do for him. So you're doing for yourself. Even in Halakha, we're not allowed to tell the Goyim to do things for us for Shabbat. But if the Goyim does for themselves, we can enjoy for what they did. For instance, if a Goya works in your house, she decided to make herself tea. So she heat up tea in a teapot. And then after she made herself tea, there's hot water, I can come and make myself coffee now. She didn't make for me, she made for herself, there's something left over, I can enjoy from it. But if I knew she saw me, and she added another cup to the teapot, when she saw me coming to the kitchen, then I cannot do it. If she did it for me, it's obvious, or I ask her to do it for me, cannot enjoy from it. She did it for herself. So sometimes they come, they work for you, they get paid. So you can enjoy from what they're doing for you on Shabbat. Why? Because the halakha say they do it for themselves, not for us. You have to know halakha when it's count that they do it for themselves, and when it's count that they do it for you. And there's differences, you have to know all the little details to know when it's allowed, when it's not allowed. But we go back to what we started. Hashem wanted the Torah to be complicated because He didn't want everyone to take the Mishnayot and understand it. That's why they wrote the Mishnayot, the Chachamim, in such a sophisticated way. It's mamash like a quiz. They did it on purpose like a quiz. That 200 years later, the rabbis 200 years, 5-6 generations later, already had such arguments to understand what they meant. 200 years only. Even today, look at the rabbis from 100 years ago, the way they used to write, and compare to how people write today. So much more complicated. The language of the Chazon Ish, 50 years ago, Chazon Ish. Take a professor for Hebrew in a Hebrew university in Israel, with very high IQ and very intelligence, and you have all kinds of degrees. Tell him, explain to me the words of the Chazon Ish. I promise you, at least half of the words he won't understand. Half of the words he won't understand. Chazon Ish, 50 years ago. The language, the brilliance of these people was beyond any understanding that we have. There's no way to understand this. I give you an example. There was Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul, passed away less than 20 years ago. One time, one of his students came to him and he said, with a pile of papers, that they were writing in the shiurim, in the lessons that they used to give in Yeshivat Porat Yosef. So 10 years after Chacham Ben Zion finished to give this shiur, 10 years later, one of the students from the shiur came and said, Rabbis, we want to publish a book in your name. So I want you to verify for me that you give us permission. So he told them, read, I don't have my reading glasses. Read, let me see. So the student read 3 words. He has hundreds of pages. He read 3 words and said, it's not mine. 10 years later, 3 words. He already knew, I never said those words. The brain is not hard to understand. 10 years later. 10 years later. You know what's going on? It was Rav Chaim Oizer in Europe. About a year ago, one of his students, he was a kid when he saw him. Maybe 100 years ago or more, he saw him. Forgot his name. He just passed away a few years ago. He was 99 years old. So he said that when he was a teenager, he went to him, and he was giving a shiur to 12 different rabbis. They're all sitting and writing around the table, long table. They all, and he's sitting in the head of the table, and somebody was standing there asking questions and writing. So he said, when I walked to the room, he was giving 12 lectures at the same time, simultaneously. How can you give 12 lectures to the audience sitting in front of you? Can I now give you 12 different lectures and 12 different topics? Yes. Not me. He could. To him, I give a lecture about Masechet Kiddushim. To him, about Masechet Shabbat. To him, about Avodah Zarah. To him, about Brachot. To him, completely different subjects. How? I'd say 10 sentences to him, and he begins to write. Then I go to him, completely different lecture. I continue from where I stop. I tell him, we're speaking about Brachot. Go to him, speaking about Kiddushin, telling him enough to write, telling him quickly, going 12 different subjects. That's how I used to teach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it goes 12 subjects, and this person is standing asking random questions in different topic. He also answered him, and this rabbi said, I came to ask a question, he answered me also. This Rav Chaim Oizer, people witnessed him writing with 2 hands in 2 different topics. 2 hands on 2 pages. You understand what we're talking here about? It's only 100 years ago. Now go and understand who was Rabbi Akiva, who was the Rambam, who are these people. So here you go. So now everyone thinks that we are in the same league. Clean your head from this nonsense once for all. We're not in this level. In a million years that we learn, we won't get to their level. That's the way the world was. That's the way the world was. Rav Ovadia started to say that this rabbi forgot about him. He moved from Iraq to Italy, and he arrived there and he did not find the Gemara there in the entire town. So he sat and wrote the entire Talmud, almost 3,000 pages, by heart. The entire Talmud. There was no source, nowhere to copy, no telephone, no Skype, send me a fax, nothing. He sat there in Italy and he wrote with a feather the entire Talmud, word by word, by heart. Even today, you have rabbis. I heard there's one rabbi, few people already told me about him, that they saw him. Rav Yoshua Cohen, I think his name is. You take a needle, you stick it in a Gemara. Before you turn the page, he'll tell you in what word the needle made a hole. That's how he knows every page in a Gemara. You understand? And this is today, he's still alive. You can go see him in Israel. You understand? So now multiply him by who knows how many thousand, it will be the Rambam. And multiply the Rambam by few thousand, it will be Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And multiply him by few thousand, it will be Moshe Rabbeinu. And he thinks him and Moshe Rabbeinu went to the same school, buddies. I know better than Moshe.
So the knowledge get diluted as time went by?
Not necessarily diluted, but the ability to understand the deepness, the depth of the knowledge is much, much, much more limited. Much more limited. I give you an example. I look at myself. I learn a page of a Gemara. I learn it. I understand what's going on. Tomorrow I will learn it again. I see many things I didn't see yesterday. Now the picture is getting a little bit a different angle of understanding. Third time, oh, now I saw a few more details I didn't see. Oh, now I finally understand why I didn't understand this word, because now I got the point. Fourth time, even more. So you have to understand, the more you're going to go and dig and dig and dig, and then if you have very large knowledge, then you take other pieces of the puzzles and you connect all to this Gemara, then you are shocked how brilliant it is. And you have to understand, it was written by two rabbis with no computers, almost 1700 years ago. Rav Ashi and Ravina, they wrote the Talmud by memory. They remembered 400 years of the glorious years in the Jewish history, of all the Tanaim, all the Amoraim, everything that was said in every yeshiva, in every lecture, every opinion, in thousands of topics, who said what to who, and who made his point clear, and whose opinion was delayed, whose opinion was accepted. Write everything in a book with a memory, with no contradiction. What's the chance that it would happen? Zero. Total zero. So how it happened? It was the Spirit of Hashem on them. It's not enough to be brilliant. You need siyata d'ishmaya. You know what it means to learn the Talmud? Baruch Hashem, the Koreans already realize. Now they teach in thousands of schools in Korea, they teach Gemara now.
Part of the curriculum.
Yeah, every day. In Jordan, they're now selling the Talmud in Arabic. I wonder what would happen when they come to some of the pages that speaks about them. So far we didn't hear anything. I don't know. But we see that the world beginning to understand what the Talmud is. But in Israel, they still, not everybody understand what it is. So let's go back to what we said. So when the Chachamim explain something, it's not only based on literal understanding of the words. No. They know that every word, when it was said, by which prophet, in what scenario, what's the secret in it, what's the Kabbalistic aspect of it, how it's related to other verses in different parts of the Tanakh. Knowledge that you have no... Every little detail changed the entire story. Like if you wouldn't know the story of King David, you read it, it looks more than clear that he made a horrible sin. He sent Uriah to die and he took his wife. That's what it looks like. Then when you begin to read all the secrets of the story, you understand why the Gemara says, don't dare to think that King David made a sin. He never made a sin. Kol ha'omer David chata eno ela to'eh. It's a total mistake. But when you read it, literally, that's what it looks like. Then you read all the secrets of what happened there, really, all the details that is not mentioned in a script, and you find a complete different story. Same story about Shimshon, Samson and Delilah. We just saw it in this Haftarah. Maybe we have time to speak about it later. The whole story of Samson, you read about it, you think he was such a hero, such a muscular hero. He was taking 60 Philistines and throwing them, and they're all falling, and nobody can do any. And he fought against the lion, and he ripped his mouth, and he killed him. All these stories that you read, it looks like a Hollywood story. In the end, he was short, crippled. It's completely different than what they teach you in kindergarten. In between the shiur about Kofiko and the Shafan Kibel Nazelet, they tell you Shimshon HaGibor. You know, Superman. Bottom line, let's get serious. Let's try to understand what's happening here. So a person decides to be a Nazir. What means to be Nazir? I'm accepting on myself, what? To be holy. more than the average requirements. I want to elevate myself to a higher level. No, so it says like this. The Gemara brings a story. Amar Shimon HaTzadik, מימיי לא אכלתי אשם נזיר טמא. There is one sacrifice, it's called Asham Nazir Tameh. Why? If you become a Nazir, from this moment on, let's say you say, the Gemara says, Stam Nazirut 30 Yom. If you don't say how long, it's obvious that you meant 1 month. That's the ordinary Nazirut. If you say that it's going to be longer or shorter, then you say specifically how long. But without saying that, it's usually 30 days. So if you decide not to be Nazir for 30 days, what's the rules? You're not allowed to cut your hair. You let your hair grow like you mourn. Mornings. When someone dies, you don't cut the hair for 30 days. That's the rule. You don't cut the hair. No, what else? You don't eat grapes. You don't drink wine. You don't eat raisins. You don't eat the pits of the raisins. Anything that comes from the grape tree, you're not allowed to enjoy from it. What happened? Also, you're not allowed to become impure. How? By standing next to a body of a dead person. So if there is someone dead inside a building, you're not allowed to enter that room. If someone is about to die in this room, doesn't feel good, is laying in bed, is very old, you must run out of the room before. Why? If you become tameh, if you become impure, you have to start your Nazirut from the beginning. The 2-3 weeks that you were Nazir, all went down to 0. Now you have to start now everything from the beginning. And you have to bring a sacrifice, punishment, for becoming impure from a dead body. How? You have to bring Asham Nazir Tameh, that you became impure in the middle of the Nazirut. Nazir, it's like a Kohen Gadol. Regular Kohen, if his wife died, he gets impure from her body. The Torah allowed. His father, his mother, his children, it's allowed. His relatives is allowed. For other strangers, not allowed. Kohen Gadol, even for his relatives, not allowed. And the Nazir is actually considered like a Kohen Gadol. The same rules apply to him. So now it says like this. Once he brings the sacrifice, he brings it to Bet HaMikdash, okay, he has to start again. So Shimon HaTzadik, this is what he said. One time came a person to me from the south of Israel. And I saw that he's a handsome man, very handsome man. He has nice curly hair. I told him, my son, why you came now to cut your hair? Wanted to shave his hair now. He said, I was a shepherd of the sheep of my father in my town. And I took the sheep to the lake to drink. And I saw my image on the water. Not like today you come, you have mirrors all over the house. You know? You needed to see yourself, you have to come to the water. Where are you going to see yourself? I looked at the shadow of me on the water, and I started to feel pride that I'm so good looking. Right away, my evil inclination started to tell me, what are you wasting time taking care of the sheep? The ladies are waiting for you. Go make sins. Enjoy the gift that you have. You're handsome. Go make sins. So after a second, I say to my evil inclination, you wicked, you evil, you want to destroy my eternity? You want me to go against the creator of the world? You want me to be proud of my beauty that will be eaten by the worms eventually? I'm making now a neder, a vow, that I'm accepting on myself to be a Nazir. So he says, I stood right now and I kissed him on his head and I say, my son, may many people will be Nazirim like you in Israel. Now what's the moral of the story? There are two kinds of Nazirim. There's Nazir L'Shem Shamayim and Nazir that is not L'Shem Shamayim. Nazir is for the sake of heaven, and Nazir that is not a sake from heaven. Nazir that is for the sake of heaven is very welcome. Nazir that is not for the sake of heaven is very not welcome. Now we're going to explain. The Gemara says, Rabbi Yehuda says, Hasidim Rishonim, the righteous people of previous generations. Rabbi Yehuda, it was 2,000 years ago. So he's talking maybe 2,100 years ago, 2,200 years ago, way before him. He said those big, holy, righteous people, they were desiring bringing a korban chatat to Hashem. Why? Because they never make sins. Who brings korban chatat? Sacrifice of chatat only if you make a not intentional sin. That if you make it intentionally, you are subject to a karet punishment. 36 punishments in the Torah says, and the soul get cut out of Olam Haba, get cut out of my nation. That's only if you did it purposely, on purpose. But if you did it not intentionally, so it's no, the soul doesn't get cut, but you still have to bring a sacrifice. It's called korban chatat, like Mechalel Shabbat. Accidentally, he didn't know and he did something that is not allowed on Shabbat. So he has to bring a sacrifice, korban chatat. It's a sin. Not intentional sin, but still a sin. So the righteous people, they were dying to bring to Hashem this sacrifice. But how are they going to do it? They cannot make sins, because they never make sins. Not like us, every 30 seconds a new sin. Over there, they never made a sin in their life. So look what bothered them. We make sins. If we had Bet HaMikdash today, oh no, not again. I have to take another goat now to Yerushalayim. What a headache, $300. A person thinking I'm losing work. They were dying. How will I be able to sacrifice to Hashem this sacrifice without making a sin? So, because they never have any sins. Litchayev bekorban. What they used to do? They used to make themselves Nazirim. That now it's finally an opportunity. When the Nazir finish his days, the Torah says he has to bring a sacrifice, korban chatat to Hashem. But the question is, why? Why Hashem said that in the end he has to bring a sacrifice? Korban chatat is if you did something wrong. The only reason they accepted to be Nazir, if they become impure, they have to bring Korban Asham Nazir. That's a higher level. That's already a bigger sin, that you became impure. Here, it's just because you decided to be a Nazir, you already have to bring a Korban Chatat when you're done with your days of Nazirut. That's what it says. V'chiper alav ma'asher chata ala nefesh. V'gmara say, v'chi be'eze nefesh chata zeh. What kind of sin he made that the Torah presented like he made a sin? Listen good. Ela shetzi'er atzmo min hayayin. What is the sin? That he did not drink wine for 30 days. Everything in Judaism is wine. Kiddush, wine. Havdalah, wine. Brit Milah, wine. Wedding, wine. Everything wine. Why wine? Why? Wine is Etz Hadat. Few opinions what was Etz Hadat. The main opinion, there was the grape. There's a lot of secrets in wine. In the grape juice, there's a lot of secrets. You cannot mix grape tree with any other tree. Can't mix them. All other trees, you mix between them, you create new species. The wine does not want to intermarry. No intermarriage by me. Just like the Jews not allowed to marry other nations. The wine, you only get the wine out of the fruit by depressing it. You step on it, you beat it, you destroy it. And then the wine destroys you. First you step on him, then he steps on you. Everyone stepped on the head of the Jews. In the end, when Mashiach comes, the Jews will destroy all the evil people. That's what the Torah promised. It's a guarantee. Not maybe yes, maybe not. Just a matter of when. Or the Jews only have a future if they follow the past. Without the past, we don't have a future. We rely on the sages that clarify to us the Torah, the oral Torah, and all the laws. Without them, what would we have? We don't understand 5% of the written Torah. They did the job for us. Same thing, the grape tree. When you put seeds in the ground, how the grape grows? You need to put sticks. You take pieces of wood, you stick it in the ground, and then the grape is climbing on that stick. Without the stick, the grape cannot grow higher. It needs a fence, it needs something to climb on, because it's a soft tree, it's like a bush. So what's the secret here? The Jews, they only can rise on the shoulder of the dead generations. You take a dead tree, you stick it, the live climbing thanks to the dead. Without the dead, there's no future to the living bush. You understand? Plus, if you put the stick on the right and the grape is on the left, the grape will always find the closest target to go to and climb on it. So now when the grape comes to the stick, you take the stick out and move it to the other side. What do you think would happen? I will make a U-turn. What do we learn from here? That they have their own mind. They communicate, they have language. Just like the Gemara say, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Yada Sichat Kalim. He knew the communication of the trees. One time I gave this Gemara in one of my lectures, and I had a scientist in the audience. So he came after the lecture, he said, I have something to back what you say up. I say, which one? He said, about the trees that they communicate with each other. He said, it's absolutely true. I said, how do you know? He said, if you ever go to the jungles, to the forest, you see so many trees one next to the other, and the trees are expanding more and more every year to the sides. They become wider and wider, the branches. You will never find an accident between a branch of one tree to the neighbor tree. If the branch goes here, it will go a little bit to the left. They never collide. Even though it sometimes go into the space of the other, but they're really not touching each other. But if you plant a living tree next to the siding of your home, which is also wood, it would penetrate and break the wood. Why? Because the dead wood cannot talk. So the living tree is going, he doesn't know, nobody is warning him. You understand? So that's, the Gemara says when you chop a tree, the screaming of the tree from the pain goes all the way to the other side of the world. So why don't we hear it? Because Hashem wanted us to live in houses, to have beautiful chairs, tables. If we come to chop a tree and the tree begin to scream, help! So listen, I don't mess with trees. Right? So that's what's happening.
I heard that when the time of the Messiah, trees will be able to talk when you come to cut them.
The trees are talking now. What it means they'll be able to talk means that we finally will, every one of us will get to such a level like King Solomon and like Yochanan ben Zakkai, that they already knew the languages of the trees, the languages of the animals, etc. Okay, so now we move on. So the Torah say, because he suffered by not drinking the wine, what do we learn from here? That Hashem is not interested that we'll be Christians. He's not interested in the Christian ideology to torture yourself. Many people, include some rabbis today in previous generation, invented a way that if a person wants to be forgiven for his sins, he has to torture himself. Fasting, going into the snow, doing all kinds of suffering physically. It's also causing mental suffering, but physically, literally, to suffer physically, to fast all the time, hundreds of days, this, that. And why? To make repentance, to repent for the sins. That's come more from Kabbalistic points of view. We see it, and some people today, they still live in some kind of illusion. They think that we are like we used to be 500 years ago, and they try to do it. And usually only bad comes out of it. I don't remember one case that something good came out of it. That's not what Hashem wants. The opposite. The Torah says, Hashem, Atid Adam liten din v'cheshbon al ma shera'ata eno velo achal. If a person saw new food in the world, that he never tasted from it, no fruit, Never saw it. Oh, what is this? Papaya. What's papaya? I never saw it. It's a tree. And he doesn't eat from it, it's a sin. He has to eat. So no, I heard it's delicious. I don't want to enjoy in this world. No, my friend. Don't pretend you're Moshe Rabbeinu, please. Al tiyeh tzadik harbe. Eat. Eat, make a bracha for Hashem. Don't be a pig. All day fasting, yes. But enjoy. That's why in holidays and in Shabbat, Hashem say, eat, enjoy. What's pleasure? Food. Food, enjoy, eat. But Hashem has planned to discipline us. Eat. But you have to know when is the line. That's it. Don't cross the line. Eat, enjoy. But don't explode. 3 hours after the meal, he cannot move. You know, they have to pick him up from the chair. Not because he learned all night Torah. Because he's like exploding. That's why the halakha say, Rambam in Ilchot Deot, a person is allowed to eat up to 2/3 of what his stomach can hold. Don't fill it up to here. Usually what makes the people sick is the last 2 bites. At one point in a meal, he said, that's it, I'm full. Then the eyes see, oh, dessert, this, that. Another 5-6 bites, 3 hours you suffer. Up to now, you can function. That's why in the yeshivot, they don't bring meat at lunch. You ate lunch meat. Seder Sheni, everyone is snoring. Right? The stomach works much harder to digest meat because it's hard food. So because it has to digest the hard food and lots of food, all the blood from the body goes to the stomach. And then you feel dizzy, you fall asleep. So what's the solution? You walk a little bit. When you walk, the blood spreads back to the head and to other parts, so you wake up again. Or you breathe pure air that comes. You go to a place that is air coming, so you breathe lots of oxygen. That also helps the blood to go to the places with the oxygens that go and absorb inside the blood. So the idea is, why do I need remedy for what I did wrong? Let me not do anything wrong, and I won't need all this. I eat very little. 3-4 hours later, you can eat a little more. But not to stuff the stomach. It's a muscle. It's choke. It cannot shrink and expand because there's so much weight on it, and it kills the person. It's a very, very bad thing. However, I sometimes hear and read in books that some experts, they say all the sicknesses come from the food. You heard that before or no? Baloney, it's not true. The sicknesses come from the sins. The food helps it. Yes, true. Remember, don't let these people fool you. If you eat healthy, you'll never be sick. Baloney. We become sick because we make sins and Hashem is angry at us. How can you prove that I'm right and not they? Who can give me a proof?
When you commit the sin, you physically already suffering. There's a thought, the thinking of trying to, knowing that you created.
You're being too much of a philosopher. Very simple answer.
The organs.
No, you're not in the right direction, Bechlal. Where does it say in the Torah that I'm right? כל המחלה אשר שמתי במצרים לא אשים עליך, כי אני השם רופאך. If you don't get me angry, the sicknesses that I gave to the Egyptian wicked nation, I won't bring to you. I will save you from them. I'm your God, your doctor. Who give the sicknesses? Not the cream cake and the high cholesterol, like they make it today. Cholesterol, this, that, fat, extra, saturated fat, this, they have a lot of words. This is all making the situation worse. Obviously, if you shoot yourself in the head, you die. If you don't eat for a week, you die. Obviously, the body needs. But what's the source of the problem? It's not the food. The food only helps the problem. What really brings the problem is the sins that a person makes. Why? If a person is perfect tzaddik, and he eats extra and not healthy and anything like that, but he's a big tzaddik, Hashem can save him. No problem. We found people that smoke a lot. They live over 100. They are very big tzaddikim. They smoked. And what happened? They lived with the cigarettes. We found people jog every day 4 hours, every inch of the body, muscle, age 40, heart attack, and they died. Nobody understand. No cholesterol, no heart attack. Died. Why? Hashem wanted him dead, and he wanted him alive. That's it. So now, back to our Nazir. It says like this. Listen good. There is unwelcome Nazirut, as I said before. When a person gets angry and he makes a neder, a vow, because he's angry, something happened, or because he has a benefit, he's trying to show off, he wants to get married, and they offer him a girl that she's very spiritually high, he wants her to hear that he was just finishing 1 month of being a Nazir. Ah, wow, what a tzaddik. So he does it for her, not for the sake of Hashem. Or because he got angry, so he made a neder. Or because he is afraid he's going to get sick, so he does it. But not because it's mitzvah, no. So it says like this. That's called Nazirut Reshaim. That's called a wicked Nazir. Hashem is not interested in this kind of Nazirut. Also in Nedarim, Hashem is not happy when a person makes vows. I'm making a vow. Why? Most people do not keep it. Better not to make. Then our parasha is speaking about Nazirut shel Kedusha. Holy Nazir. Welcome Nazir. Not bad ones. Not vow, not impression. For the sake of heaven. Why? When is it going to be a positive Nazirut? Only one reason. Who knows one? When a person has in mind, I enjoy too much from this world. I eat too much. I enjoy too much. I travel too much. I'm too much into this temporary world. It's time to cut, to do some change in my life. I want to move. That's it. I got to wake up myself from this evil inclination who choke me with all the nonsense around me. So now I'm going to make something drastic. 1 month, I cut. That's what I say one guy today. I say to him, he's married. I said to him, tell your wife, you take a month off from work and you come to Monsi to the yeshiva. Well, he started to do this, one thing leads to another month he won't be religious. I already see where it's going. So he said to me, what, I'm not going to be a month at home? My wife's going to go crazy. I said, leave it to me, don't worry. Your wife will pray to Hashem, keep him there for 5 years. If you only knew 1% of what he does. So, the idea is sometimes he started to realize. I said that's the only thing will save you from your situation right now. You cannot do it on your own. It's not an embarrassment to admit. Not every patient can cure himself. You need hospitals, you need surgeons, you need doctors. The yeshiva, it's a hospital, it's a spiritual hospital. The rabbis are the doctors. Somebody needs to cure your soul. It's very sick. You cannot do it on your own. Sometimes you can put a good CD and right away it cures you. It's like taking a pill. But sometimes it's not enough. You already need a much, much more serious treatment. So it says like this. When a person accepted to keep himself away from the sins and he doesn't want to be too connected to this temporary world, it's a welcomed Nazirut. Hashem is happy, satisfied from it. That's what it says in a pasuk. Nezer Elokim munach al rosh ha-Nazir. Nazir, it's like a crown. The crown of God is on the head of this Nazir. Why? Because he's doing it for me. That's what Hashem said. Now, as I started to say, why from all the things in the world, the Nazir is not allowed to drink wine? Why not cream cakes? Why not? There's a lot of delicious things in the world. Why the wine? He doesn't touch wine. Why is it?
He told it to sin? Drink too much wine?
The answer is, just the previous topic in the parasha is speaking about a woman who cheated on her husband. Supposedly. Allegedly, nobody ever, no, there's no witnesses. But she was in a hidden room with another man, married woman, and her husband suspects her. So he takes her to the Kohen, they write the name of Hashem, they put in the water, she drinks, and if she cheated, her wound explodes. And if not, the Kohen gives her a big bracha, and that's it. That's more or less the story. So the Gemara say, Aroe isha sota bekilkula. If a person see a married woman that got to this embarrassing level, yazir atzmo min hayayin. Right away, run away from the wine, from the alcohol. Now the wine of 2,000 years ago, it's not like today. Grape juice with tons of water and few drops of alcohol. No. A wine of 2,000 years ago was 50% alcohol minimum. And the pieces of the grapes were there. When a person drink it, right away, it's already like he drank a whole bottle of whiskey in one shot. That's how strong it was. How do I know? How do I know? Maybe it was Kedem wine, 3% alcohol also. How do I know? The answer is, when they used to execute people, the Mechalelei Shabbat, someone got caught not Shomer Shabbat, after he got a warning and he repeats the violation, they testify against him in a court, and they take him to stone him. Before they took him to stone, they used to give him a glass of wine. And he was holding the wine, and he says, Savri Maranan, and all the judges in the court say, Lamavet, to death. What's Savri Maranan? The rabbis decide, and they answer, to death. So they take him to die. But before they kill him, they make him drink the wine. As soon as he finished drinking it, he's not in this world anymore. Doesn't feel pain, nothing. They take him, that's it. He doesn't know what's happening with him. That's like anesthesia. Why? It was so strong. That's why. That's why when we say Kiddush, we say Savri Maranan, everybody answer L'chaim. By us, it's the opposite. It's for life. Ele mitzvot asher yaseh otam ha'adam v'chai b'hem. That when we drink the wine, everybody say L'chaim, the opposite of the executions in a court, that they say Lamavet. That's the power of the wine. Now, one more thing that we have in this parasha, it says like this. Birkat Cohanim. The blessing of the Cohanim. Now you know when you go in a shul, you have all the Cohanim, they stand on a stage and they all do Birkat Cohanim. So sometimes they go like this, and sometimes they go like this. How do you know? You're not supposed to know. You're not supposed to look at them when they do it. Why? The spirit of Hashem is on their hands. That's why they put the talit over their head and they go like this. The Shekhinah is on the hands of the Kohanim. You're not allowed to look at them. You can hurt the eyes. So, when they speak to the people, like Yevarechecha, Hashem will bless you, so they go like this, to include everyone. When they speak about Hashem, they stand like this. Hashem, Veishmerecha, it's you. Yair, it's Hashem. Hashem, also like this. Panav, it's Hashem. Elecha, again, they go like this. Every time they direct to the audience, remember, they go like this. Now, what's the secret of this bracha, Birkat Kohanim? First of all, why it's close to Nazir? We know why Nazir is close to Isha Sota, a woman that may cheated. Why? What caused to cheat? Alcohol. Take a married woman, give her few drinks. What happens to her? She forgets about everything. Most of the problems come from it. Let's have a drink after work. One happy hour, 2, 3 drinks, a little Vini was born. Or murder, depend. So, we're supposed to cry, not to laugh. So it says like this. So we know why Nazir is attached to Isha Sota. Why? It's connected. Wine, cheating, okay. But why wine is now next to Birkat Kohanim, Nazir? The monk, all of a sudden, right after that, is the blessing of the Kohanim. Why? Lelamdenu, to teach us, sheshtu yain lo isa kapav. A Kohen that drank wine cannot make Birkat Kohanim and cannot serve inside Bet HaMikdash. We're not talking 3% Kedem wine. We're talking the wine of those days. One drink, that's it. You can't do anything. That's why we don't do Birkat Kohanim in Mincha. See, in Shabbat, we do in Musaf, we do in Shachrit. Why we don't do in Mincha? Mincha is the most important prayer of the week, Mincha of Shabbat. Right? Why in Yom Kippur we do in Ne'ilah, which is 5 minutes after Mincha? All year we don't do in Mincha because the Kohanim by then already drank in lunch. The water was hard to get, clean water. It's not like today, have filters and another filter, and when it comes to the apartment, there's another filter. No, it was wine that you get from the lake, lots of dirt. So people prepare to drink wine. They prepare it homemade, and they used to drink wine, or they mix the wine with water. But at least we don't feel the horrible taste of the water, like in India. You cannot drink the wine there, the water there. It's horrible there. So some countries, you cannot ever drink water from the faucet there. So what's happened, that's how it used to be. So people used to drink watermelon juice. It was very popular. You take the juice from the watermelon, you smash it, and you drink it. Not to die, you need liquids. So the Kohanim, they eat lunch, they drink lots of wine. They come to the Bet HaMikdash, you know, or may already fall in the middle, you know. So Hashem said, no, the Kohanim, if they drank, they cannot function. Same thing, a Nazir does not allow to drink wine. You don't drink wine before you make the bracha. That's why it's right next to each other. Why in Yom Kippur we do? We cannot drink lunch. One day we don't eat. Okay, today you can do. Why in Ta'aniyot Tzibur, when we do Ta'anit, other fast, we do Birkat Kohanim? Why is it? Because when we don't have this reason, we don't drink wine because it's a fast day. Then we can do in the afternoon. You understand why? Every custom has a reason, not this coincidence. Sometimes we do, 2 hours later we don't do. Why? It's reasons for it. So now, just one more thing before we continue with the Birkat Kohanim. When the Nazir became impure because he was standing right next to a dead body or touched a dead body or somebody died next to him. So what does he do? He brings to the Kohen in oil moed 2 doves, the birds. And the Kohen sacrificed them, one le'olah, one le'chatat, 2 different kinds of sacrifices. And then he has to bring a sheep, a lamb. Why? For not being careful. Why you're not careful? And he stood next to a dead body. Once he done his days, he finished the 30 days, he brings a goat that is less than 1 year old, a sheep, lamb. He has to be at least younger than 1 year old. Perfect, no broken, no missing parts in his body. Perfect body the sheep has to have. He brings it the Korban Olah, and then he brings another female sheep, also less than a year old, not more than a year old, also perfect and complete, le Korban Chatat. So already 2 kvasim. If it was today, $300 each. That's what a sheep costs, $300 for here, $300, 2 birds is another $20 each. So already $640 right there. And then, Ail echad tamim leshlamim, a male sheep also, with his horns, Ail. Another one, so it's already $1,000. Just $1,000. He works at 7-Eleven, makes $10 an hour. By the end of the month, in his entire monthly salary, he has to sacrifice because he decided to be holy. It's a price. Then he has to bring matzot. Matzot, special matzot with oil, dipped in oil. Then he has to shave his hair. All the hair that he didn't cut. And what do you do with the hair? What do you do with the hair? You have to burn it on the Mizbeach, on the altar. Why? No one is allowed to enjoy. You cannot make wigs from it, nothing. So you have to burn it because no one is allowed because it's holy. The hair of this Nazir is holy. His hair. So you have to burn it again, otherwise somebody would not know and will use it for something. No one is allowed to use it. Now, in Birkat Cohanim, it says like this. Amra Knesset Israel Ifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The rabbis asked Hashem, you told the Cohanim to give us a blessing. We need the Cohanim to give us a blessing. We want your blessing. Why you gave us a broker? We want your blessing. Amar la HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem answered, even though I said to the Cohanim to bless you, I am standing there with them and bless you with them. That's the whole idea here. That's why they spread your hands like this. That Hashem is in between their fingers when they split, when they reach their arms open. And it says like this. Yevarechecha Hashem. What does it mean? Who knows? We heard it thousands of times. Let's understand word by word. What does it mean? Yevarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. Before v'yishmerecha. Yevarechecha Hashem. Hashem will bless you. What kind of blessing? There's thousands of blessings. Which one? What does it mean? Good. Dinero. Mucho dinero. Pool. Good. Okay. Then v'yishmerecha. He will watch over you. In what way? That you don't die in a war, in an accident, that you don't lose money, the demon don't go into you. What? That your money will be blessed and not stolen from you. Then, Yair Hashem panav elecha. What's Yair? Hashem will show you happy face. It's an analogy, parable. Hashem doesn't have a face, but will be happy towards you. No? Iten lecha meor einaim. In our words, will give you charisma. You'll be charismatic. You talk to people, your friends say the same word, you say the same word. People are like magnet to you, nobody pays attention to him. Same words. Nobody can understand why. Why one president is so great even though he said nothing. Everyone clap. And the other one who says so many interesting, important things, nobody cares. Except the rabbis. You have rabbis, they know 1,000 times more Torah than some great speakers. Nobody can hear 5 minutes of their speech. Right away they get up or they fall asleep. They know 1,000 times more. They don't have charisma for whatever reason. Sometimes there's no talent to speak. That's another thing. Speech, lack of talent. But we're talking, he has talent to speak. He can teach Torah in yeshiva, and he knows what to say. He doesn't have the charisma in front of his audience. And then somebody who knows not even half of him, he come, whatever he say, wow, what an amazing drasha it was. So that's called Yair Hashem panav elecha. And what does it mean, v'yichuneka? From what word it comes? Chen. Chen, beauty. It's called, you will find favor in the eyes of Hashem and people. People like you, naturally. You're a likable person. Also, Hashem will park in your territory. Yechuneka, it's come from the word chanaya, lachnot. Chone means park your car. איפה החנית את המכונית? Where do you park your car? So Hashem will be, his home will be in your house, which means it will bless everything you have. Also, many righteous kids will come from you. ייתן בך דעת ורחמים, will give you wisdom and mercy, like a father to a son. Free gift. What יישא השם פניו אליך וישם לך שלום? What יישא השם פניו? מה זה משוא פנים? משוא פנים. You are a judge. You're sitting in a court. They bring someone who forged a signature and stole $1,000 from someone. You send him 3 years to prison. A week later, same exact case. You give the guy 3 months to service work in a hospital. Same thing. Go volunteer in a hospital for 3 months. What happened? That's called masor panim. One you were very strict with, judged him, the worst punishment, and one you almost kissed him. Go to work in a hospital 3 hours a day. What happened? You ask the judge in a lie detector, he won't know why. I really don't know how. They show him now in an investigation. Judge, why over here like this and over here like this? I swear to you, I have no answer. They connect him to a lie detector. He really doesn't know. He doesn't know. His soul knows. He doesn't know. It comes from his subconscious. That's called masor panim. Sometimes you like a person just by his look. Sometimes people tell me, I don't know, I just look at this person, I hate him. I say, how can you hate him? He said, I don't know, I can't explain it. I can't stand this guy. Or the other way around, I really like this guy. Why? He didn't speak to him 2 words. I really like him. There's no understanding why this one yes and this one no. That's called masor panim. Which means, if you deserve him to be angry at you, he will shut the anger off. That's called Isa Hashem panav elecha. V'yasem lecha shalom. All the good blessings in Hashem. What is it? Finish with shalom, which is the name of Hashem. Shalom. Without peace, there's nothing. We finish 18, עושה shalom במרומיו. Birkat Cohanim, shalom. Everything shalom. Peace. Peace is important. House without a peace, there's no marriage. How a woman can make peace with Hashem? How?
Get dressed.
Get dressed. She remembered to get dressed before she leaves the house. Rule number 1. Without that, how can she make peace with Hashem? Hashem cannot stand lack of modesty. So first thing, to get dressed modest. Second, not to make sins. She's not married. A man wants to touch her. She has to give her life not to agree. It's not a joke. You know, do you know what a horrible sin it is for a single guy to have relation with a single girl? If the people who does it would only have 1 minute lecture by Hashem, what's going to be their punishment? Even when it's going to be permitted, they won't touch each other. For the rest of their life. Hashem, it's permitted now. Kadima, you got married. No, I never touch her. No, just what you told me 2 years ago, it's enough. Don't want to even think about it. Who knew here, please be honest, that if Itzik and Racheli met each other in a club, 2 Jews, and they had relation, that Itzik is going to get a bigger punishment than sleeping with his own mother. Who knew it? That's a bigger punishment for that than what he did otherwise. Where does it say it in the Torah? What sin is that when a boyfriend and girlfriend living like a husband and wife? No, it's not Gilui Arayot. Isur karet. Why it's karet? Because every single girl is nida. She's not married, she's not going to the mikveh, so she's nida. She has the worst impurity that a person can have, besides that body. It's isur nida. The Zohar say that if a woman is nida, she shouldn't come to shul and look at the Sefer Torah. That's how impure she is, until she goes into the mikveh. Now he has relation with her. That's karet for him and for her. Both of them get cut out of the eternal life when they die. The worst thing. For 10 minutes of pleasure that they had, hour of pleasure, whatever it was. Such a price. If they had $1 billion, it's peanuts compared to the punishment. If you tell us, take a secular girl and a secular guy, and you say to him, you can sleep with her, but it's going to cost you $1 billion. Do you know one person would agree? I'm crazy, $1 billion? Please, give me back the money I don't want. Why? They feel the pain of the price compared to what they gain. Not normal. Somebody comes, give you a beautiful Mercedes. Here, take it. It's yours. And then he hands you the bill. Before he hands you the bill, it's mine. Wow, what a car. Then he give you $200,000 bill. Oh, wait a minute. Take it back. I'm not interested. Why? Didn't know the price. So the Torah says, Ervat imcha lo tegale. She's your mother, you're not allowed. When it comes to a woman in a state of impurity, he didn't say, don't make a sin with her. He said, don't come even near her that you won't make a sin with her. Extra words. All the other sex crimes in the Torah, don't do, don't do, don't do, don't do, don't do, etc. All of a sudden, an impure woman, don't come near her that maybe by mistake you make a sin with her. So it's an extra level. Hashem had an extra warning here. What do we learn from here? It's even worse. What's the punishment of that? Karet. Karet. ונכרתו הנפשות האלו. One time I had a guy in my house and his girlfriend and her girlfriend. 2 girls and a guy. He was a taxi driver from Brooklyn. I started to give lectures in his office. Baruch Hashem, all the drivers became Shomer Shabbat. Then I said, come to me for Shabbat. He said, but I live with my girlfriend. So, you know, my blood went from 40 degrees Celsius to 400. I say, he lives with his girlfriend. How are we going to save this couple? So I have to bring her with me. I'm thinking to myself, good idea. I'm going to put him in yeshiva, put her in the Mizrachi, and save the situation. So I say, okay. So the Gemara says, Chaverach chavra'it le. She said, but my girlfriend has a friend also. So what? Mishpachat Salach Shabati. She has a friend. He has a friend. Soon the whole group will come. I said, bring her also. Okay, so they came. So the house is full of guests. All different guests from different places. Now, I see this guy. It's already Shomer Shabbat. She's Shomeret Shabbat. She's a waitress in Jerusalem Steakhouse in Brooklyn, Avenue J and 14. And he's a taxi driver, and her girlfriend also a waitress. So I say to him, listen, you know, you have to separate. You live together, you're already religious. Cannot leave a boyfriend and a girlfriend in a house. You're not married. Either get married or get separated until you get married. Yeah, we know it's the right thing to do, but we can't afford 2 rents. I'm going to pay 1,000 and she's going to pay 1,000. We don't make that much money. So I say, okay, that's not a problem. Don't worry. You don't have to pay rent. You come to our yeshiva, you have a room for free and food. and you, we'll put you in Brooklyn, our Midrashia, also for free. Few months, you be strong enough, you get married, that's it. No, yes, no, we're not ready. Maybe 2.5 hours I speak about the sin of Nida. If you know me, I say the truth, I don't cut. Say it as it is. I say it's worse than being with your mother, it's the worst thing, it's karet for the soul, everything. I see that they're already dying, this couple. But the Yetzer Hara is so strong, the evil inclination is fire. So I saw that nothing helps. That's it, I'm about to give up. So I say to him, you know what, let's make a goral. Let's ask Hashem. Take the Chumash. And then I lost the argument. It didn't help. Tried. More than 2 hours I tried. Didn't help. It's already Shabbat afternoon, late afternoon already. I say to him, you come, we'll make a special prayer to Hashem. You open the Chumash, what comes on the right side, on the top, it's a message from Shamayim. Whatever Hashem wants, you're going to do. He looks at her, she looks, yes. We make few words of prayers. He open up the Chumash. First line on the right. ואלישע בנידה טומאתה לא תגרב לגלות ערוותה. An impure woman in Nida, don't come near her to find her Nida. How many times it appears in the Torah? 2, 3 times? Torah is wider than an ocean. 304,805 letters. How many letters you have in this pasuk? 15, 20? What's 15 letters from 305,000? And what are the odds that it would be in the first row on the top. Well, maybe it would be in the bottom, in this one. So, boom! She looked at that. She ran, sprint to the room, screaming, crying. So I looked at the guy, he almost fainted. It was white like a ghost. I said to him, relax, relax. You're coming tomorrow morning to the yeshiva. We put him in the yeshiva. We put them in a Midrashia. They moved to Israel. They got married, Baruch Hashem. They got saved. Then I had a guy. You saw him probably coming with me to the lecture over the years. So somebody came to me and said, you know, your friend is a Kohen. So I said to him, what do you mean he's a Kohen? My friend more than 10 years is a Kohen. All of a sudden, he said one time accidentally, he said to me that his father used to do Birkat Cohanim. So I said to him, how can it be? He said, you know, listen, he's an older guy. He's not married. He knows in his age, it's very difficult to find a girl that can fit a Kohen. Because most of the offers is divorced woman or woman that was with a goy. She's not suitable for Kohen. So his odds are 80% less. So he doesn't want to tell. He wants to cheat Hashem. He thinks he's smart. So when I heard that, I came to him. I confronted him. I said, you're not ashamed of yourself? You're Kohen and you never told us? He said, no, don't listen to him. It was a joke. I wasn't serious. I promise you, it's not true. We're arguing. He doesn't break. This guy doesn't give up. Stubborn. Hard to believe. So I said to him, you know what? You're not giving up. Let's ask Hashem. You agree? If it comes the Kohen on the right side of the page? He said, okay. So he opened. He said, Hashem, please tell us if he's a Kohen. Boom, he opened. What came out? Yitro Kohen Midian. I said, woo, Kohen, ishtabach shemo. But this guy is an Israeli wise guy. He said, hey, no, it doesn't count. It's Kohen Midian. What kind of a Kohen is this? Idols, for the idols. We're talking Kohen LaHashem. He screams. All the guests in the table. Kohen LaHashem. I said to him, you know what, you're stubborn, let's do it again. But no games. He said, I'm going to fool you. I'm going to open in the front, in the beginning of the Torah, in the book of Bereshit, Genesis, there's no word Kohen. It only starts later. I'll open in Bereshit, and it won't be Cohanim. I said, I don't care, do whatever you want. He said, okay. So he came like this. He tried to open as less as possible. Open. The entire page was Haftarah. You know, Maftir, Haftarah. In the bottom, 2 lines is the beginning of a parasha. 2 lines. Malki Tzedek, Kohen Le'el Elyon. The only place in the Torah that not only it say Kohen, it say Kohen to the greater God, to Kohen Le'el Elyon, to the upper God, whatever you want to call it. It's right here, and the entire page is not after, only 2 lines. Al Kitzedek Kohen Le'el Elyon. You think he became a Kohen? He's still pretending it wasn't true. Larash Ma'amad Har Sinai. Miracle like this. Few more words about the Haftarah and we'll finish. The Haftarah is speaking about Manoach and his wife. What's her name? Tzlalfonit. That's her name, the mother of Shimshon, Tzlalfonit. So she's barren, she doesn't have kids. One day an angel come to her and he say, you're going to be pregnant, you're going to have a baby, it's going to be holy to Hashem from birth. Something very special, a very special status. Your father is a Kohen and you're born, you already have a special crown, it's called Keter Keuna. But for instance, this being a Kohen, it only gives you special privilege if you live according to certain standards. If you keep Shabbat, if a Kohen mechalel Shabbat, even Aliyah you're not allowed to give him. It's nothing if he's mechalel Shabbat. You can't even do Birkat Kohanim. He has to have a minimum level that his keuna will give him something. If he's a total amaretz and there is a mamzer, illegitimate boy, who came from a cheating of a married woman on her husband, and she had a kid out of the marriage, and he's a big Talmid Chacham, and the Kohen over there doesn't know Torah, the boy comes before the Kohen. Why? Because he knows Torah. So you see, it's not, okay, your father is Aaron a Kohen, you come from very important family, but you have to prove yourself. Over here is a little bit different. Before he's born, he's already holy. So, she comes to her husband, Manoach, and she said to him, the man of God came to me, an angel came to me, and he told me that we're going to have a baby. So the Gemara asked, how did she know that he's a man of God? He came look like a man. He didn't come like an angel with his wings. I don't know if you remember, I said in one of my lectures, I just came back from Chicago. I was there about a month ago. And I saw a girl there, Shoshana Ahali, that's her name. 11 years old girl. What's special about this girl? Since she's 4 years old, she sees ghosts, dead people all over around her. She sees demons, she sees angels. She's such an innocent little girl. So she sees things. So I called her, I wanted to interview her, to see what she said, because kids like this, they don't know how to lie, especially not complicated lies like this. So I told her, tell me what you see. She said, I saw this baby walking with me everywhere I go. 2 years old baby. So I asked I asked her, what is this baby telling you? She says, it's my brother. So I asked the woman, did you have any miscarriage? She said, yes, I had one miscarriage. I said, okay, so that's the baby. That's the soul of that baby. So she see her brother, you cannot see, but she has spiritual eyes, this girl. Not only her, all her brothers see, but she see the most. So then I told her, what else do you see? She told me, I see angels. So I told her, describe to me the angels. Exactly like Prophet Yecheskel, like we say in Kedusha, wings. She said, one leg they have. One leg in the center. That's why we stand in a Kedusha and we go Kadosh, Kadosh. We attach the feet together, that both legs would look like one, because we are saying what the angels singing to Hashem. She doesn't know this. She's a little tiny girl like this. So she said they have one angel and they have wings on the top and on the bottom. Describe him exactly, the angels as the prophet. She sees them. Bilam saw the angel. Only after he hit his donkey, he couldn't see. Then Hashem opened up his eyes. He saw. Hashem doesn't open our eyes, but we don't need. We know that the Torah told us there are angels around us. Ki malachav yatzaveh lach lishmorcha baderech. Hashem sends his angels to guide us, to help us. Plenty of angels. So the angel came to her, but he looks in the custom of a holy person. So the Gemara say, how tzlalfonit she knew that it's a man of God, that is holy. So Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul said, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, he said, from the question of the Gemara, we learn that we're not allowed to judge people by their image of their look, of their face. Why? Because if a person that has a beautiful beard or a hat or anything like this or long peot makes him holy, why the Gemara asks, how did she know he's holy? What do you mean? He had a beard and a peot. Why are you asking a rhetorical question? You see, even though everyone had beard in those days, everyone, 3,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, the Gemara didn't care. The Gemara said, how did she know he's holy? There's no way to know if a person is holy or not. Even Samuel, when he went to look for David HaMelech 3,000 years ago, he was one of the greatest prophets ever lived. He couldn't tell who deserved to be a king. He couldn't tell. Today we have people who pretend that they are just like Moshe Rabbeinu, with no shame. Why they do it? For two reasons. Honor, but mainly money. How do you fool innocent people to give you money if you're a crook? You have to present yourself in a way that will make impression on these naive Jews. Now, if you come to them and you don't look anything, no kilt, no special hat, no white beard, you don't make faces, you don't have someone who holds your hand, you don't make all this show, they're not holding anything of you because you're not making a show. You can be very holy, you can know a lot of Torah, but it doesn't make impression on them. You bring Mustafa with a beard and a turban, and he goes like this, already they run to him. Wow, look at him, he looks like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. That's the way the mind of the people works. So the point is, one family came to Rav Moshe Feinstein, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, perhaps is the biggest Chacham ever lived on the land of America. It's a very, very big, giant Chacham. And also, usually it goes together, but not always, but in this case for sure, the most perfect personality you can find on earth, with midot, humble, straight, incredible, incredible, grateful, Baal Chesed. I know a few people who were very close with him. Stories that they told me. You get the point right away that once in a generation you have somebody like this. So one family that their daughter had cancer, they came to him for a blessing. Of course, he didn't ask for any money. It's against the rules to ask for something. You have to give right away from your heart a blessing. But 3 weeks later, the same family wanted to come again. So on the second time, he said to his shamash, which was his grandson, he said to him, I know why they want to come to me again. They think that by coming to me now again, first time was a blessing, now they hope that I will make a decree that this daughter of theirs will be cured. Not that there's a blessing, and it ups to Hashem to decide, but there's a higher level than a blessing. I make a gzera, a decree. I make a decree, and Hashem is forced to listen to me. Why? I'm the tzaddik. That's what they think. But they don't understand that in our generation, it was probably 30, 40 years ago, this story, that in our generation, nobody can make decrees. And he gave an example, perfect, beautiful example from the Gemara. What's the example he gave? The Gemara brings a story about Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. He was a very holy Tana. He was very poor also. And the Gemara said that Hashem himself announced, not stories in a newspaper. Hashem announced, the entire world is eating and making a living thanks to one person. Who? Hanina bni. My son Hanina, this Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. Thanks to him, everybody lives. That's how righteous he is. And look at him, Hashem said. He hardly eats himself, eats carobs from Friday to Friday. Carobs, the worst thing you can imagine. So the Gemara says, when someone had a sick child or a big problem, they used to run to Rabbi Hanina to pray for them. And they know he's the biggest, the most righteous person. And he suffers with his poverty. So his prayers are very special. The Gemara says, if you have chas v'shalom, a tragedy in a family, somebody is very sick, you must go to the doctors. You must. Don't think you... But before, on the way to the doctor, stop by the local rabbi across the street, in the neighborhood. Today we have phones, so you can even call. Rabbi, we have a very big problem. This is the name of the boy, the name of the girl, the name of my wife, the name of whatever. Please pray for us. And that can already help just as much as the doctor. We still must run to the doctor. If you don't run to the doctor, you're a criminal. And if you put an act that you trust Hashem, that the problem will go away and you don't need a doctor, you're a murderer. Why? Because you're a liar. You don't trust Hashem. Somebody steals $100 from you, you call 30 times. You run to kill him if it's necessary. You speak Lashon Hara about him for 6 months. If a check bounce, you don't sleep at night. Who are you telling stories that you trust Hashem? If you're in a level that you don't care what happened, you don't lock your home, you leave your car open, you leave a pile of $100,000 in a car and you go and eat or inside the building all day and you're not worried. You park your car in a place that they can tow it any minute and it doesn't bother you a second. You're in this level. You leave the house without money in your pocket, knowing that by the time you get to the bus stop, somehow Hashem will make a miracle and you make $20 from now to then to pay for the bus. If you're in this level, you don't need doctors. True. Who is in this level? Not one person in the world. There was Rav Chaim Todros, he was like this. That's why there's so many books about him and not about us. Maybe the Baba Sali was like that. Maybe, I don't know. We are not like this. Let's not live in a dream. So, Moshe Feinstein say, Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, the Gemara say, when he prayed for the sick person, he already knew in the time he finished his prayer if this patient will die or would live. He already knew, the Gemara says. How? If the prayer was smooth, he had concentration, he can focus, and all the words come into place, no mistakes, it's going very smoothly, then he knew Hashem is accepting my tefillah, he's even helping me to focus. If he started to get confused and he wasn't really smooth, it's all kinds of interference, he already knew this patient will die. So Moshe Feinstein, the genius, he said like this, Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, and the whole world was eating thanks to him. That's a fact. He couldn't he couldn't make a decree for the people that they come to cry for their children that they should live. He didn't make decrees. He only prayed for them. He did his best. He was able to know in advance who would live and who would die. That was his personal experience. Rav Moshe Feinstein say, we, 2,000 years later, even that we don't know. If Hashem accept our tefillah, don't accept. If you pray very much, a lot, is that a guarantee that your prayer accepted? No. If you pray not so focused, maybe Hashem will accept it. How do you know? It's hard to know. We don't know. We don't have any indication. So today it became a culture, a false culture, false. Many people promising things. Everyone became God. Psh, amazing. Just because you know a few pages in the Gemara and few halachot, and he has a beautiful white snowy beard, all of a sudden he make promises. You give me 126,000, the boy is out of the hospital in 1 week. Give me 500,000, your daughter will have a kid within 3 months. But what happened? 98% of the cases, of course, their promises goes to the garbage. She didn't give birth, and their kid died, and they move on with their tricks. But every once in a while, miracles happen. Not thanks to him. Because from 100 kids who goes to die, 5 of them get saved. It's the way of life. So the 2 or 3 that survived and came out of the hospital, ooh, what a career they make over it. Public relations, photographs, making video, making money collection. Look what he did. That's what they do. And everyone is fooled by them. It's not only by us, it's everywhere. It's by Muslims, by Christians. It's the nature of the crooks to do these things. One thing I'll tell you for the 1,000,000 times already. It repeats every day. Every day I get phone calls like this. Today also. One thing I'll tell you, remember this. Nowhere in history a real kosher, tzaddik, chacham ever pretend is God. Or pretend is the Messiah. Or pretend he has superpowers. The opposite. Even if they have something, they did everything they can to hide it. They never pretend that they're somebody. Even what they had, they hid. Definitely nobody puts an ad in a newspaper, Tzaddik Balair. A righteous person is coming to town, get ready with your checkbook. And all the fools are standing online. What's going on here? How stupid people can be. How? And you know what's the worst thing? You think what I say now will help? I said it 100 times in the last year and it didn't help to anyone. The same fools standing online. And many of them get angry at me. Today one guy was screaming 1 hour at me on the phone that I gave a lecture that I had a list about these crooks. And I have a list and I know who they are. So he understood from my lecture which 2 crooks I'm talking about. So he got so offended, you know. For 1 hour he was trying to brainwash me that no, they're not crooks. I said to him, but you don't know anything about them. Their victims come to me to tell me what happened to them with them, not to you. You only know what you read in the newspapers. I know inside things about them. I wish I wouldn't know. I say, I have many other that I suspect, but I don't know for sure. That's why I never hint to them. And people sometimes ask me about them. I say, I don't know. But if I already say about somebody or hint about somebody, it's not 100%. It's 1,000,000,000%. 1,000,000,000% that they're crooks. And it doesn't matter that they do also good things. Even Hitler did some good things in his life. Arafat kissed the kids. Saddam Hussein put his hand on their heads. The Hamas give money to widows and orphans. So what, it makes them righteous? If a Christian guy comes to the hospital in York Avenue and play guitar for the kids with cancer, and he gives them donation, and he gives them hot meals, and he stay all night to comfort them. It's very nice of him, no? It's all mitzvot. He does a lot of wonderful things. But it doesn't change the fact that he's an idol worshipper, and he bow down to Yossi every day. It doesn't change the fact. If a Jew keeps Shabbat and do a lot of nice things, but he worship an idol, it still make him an Oved Avodah Zarah. If he slaughter the animal, it's still not kosher. Cannot eat from it. But he give millions of dollars to donation. Very nice of him. Everything you do good, Hashem pays you good. But you're still an idol worshipper, and we cannot count you as one of the minyan. Cannot be one of the minyan. Even if you give $1 billion donation. Donation is very helpful if you don't break the foundation of Judaism. If you worship another God, what good is going to be for you all the mitzvot you do? You have God and somebody else? You're not ashamed of yourself? Just because he does nice things, this murderer, and send money to widows and orphans, and the next day he shot missiles and children in a bus. So everybody say, but he also does a lot of good things. So I gave him a story of one guy who used to live in one of the towns here in New York, that his house was like a Bet Tamchui. You know what Bet Tamchui means? Everyone who wants to come for his house, Shabbat, weekdays, holidays, just show up. The tables are full of food. His wife constantly in the kitchen, and the daughter, and the cleaning lady, and everyone there, and he has a pool in his backyard, and everyone come and enjoy. His house was like a club, like a social club. There's only one problem. So he's doing a mitzvah of achnasat orchim, very important. There's only one problem. Almost every dollar he made was stealing from innocent people. Stealing 20,000 from this guy, 50,000 from this guy. Coming to a naive Hasid. He doesn't think dirty. He's a holy man, you know. All his life he's humble, he's praying, he's never going to steal a penny. So he comes to him and says, listen, you have to do me a favor. I don't have cash on me. I have to give money to my workers. Here, let me, my customer pay me this check, $9,000. Yeah, just give me, I owe you 3,000, right? So take off 3,000 that I owe you. Give me 6,000 change, because I can have to pay my employees. Otherwise they leave me, they won't come on Sunday. And it makes it look like, and this innocent Hasid go to his safe, gives him $6,000. Monday he find out the check is forged. There's no company like this. That's how he used to do. One after the other.
Does the family know?
Huh?
His family knows that he's...
You know, the family finds out who you are sooner or later. You cannot hide from them forever. So I told him, now tell me please, this guy is a tzaddik or rasha? He said, according to you, he's a tzaddik. Because you're going to come and say, look how many people eat in his table. And I'm going to say, nobody eats in his table. Nobody, because the money, it's not his. It's still from him. Maybe those people will get a reward. Because it's their money who bought the meat. That's a different story. They will for sure. How do I know? If a person lost money on the street and he says, Hashem, I lost the money, please at least make sure that it goes to one of my brother Jews. And a Jew found his money, it counts like tzedakah for this Jew who lost it. That's a bonus. Why? You didn't choose to give tzedakah. You never give a penny tzedakah. You lost. So, well, if I lost, at least let's find a Jew. Find it. They say about one of the rabbis, he went on a train, and a glove fell from his hand to the trucks. Rav Zusha. There's many stories about Rav Zusha. That's one of the stories. So one glove fell from his hand to the truck. So he took the other glove and threw it also. So his student told him, what are you doing? He said to him, listen, I already lost one glove. Person who will find it cannot enjoy from it. You need two. I cannot enjoy with one. He cannot enjoy with one. If I already lost one, at least let me do a mitzvah that somebody will take two. But there are people who knows the same calculation, but they'll die and they won't throw the second glove. I don't have it, he won't have it. Right? That's Rasha. בעזרת השם, we'll see you next Monday. שבוע טוב. רבי חנניה בן הקשיא אומר,